guys, something a bit different today. As you know, I not just delve into horror and fantasy novellas and short story collections, I also do a bit of poetry. And recently I was having a bit of a bummer moment. You always get them when you're an author, don't you? You have this writer's block where you end up going, I can't do anything. Everything you write you feel like's crap. So I decided to read this collection of poems called Eunoia, which is beautiful words essentially, and it really does fit the title quite beautifully. It's by Renata Pavrey. Renata and I spoke recently, and I agreed that I would be on her blog tour for this collection purely because I absolutely adored it. Now, you know me, I am all doom and gloom gothiness, but this collection was so intensely beautiful. I could not pass up the opportunity to give it a call out. It's got some incredibly intense poems in there, and it really does feel like the author is basically taking her heart out and presenting it to the reader. It's beautifully done. The amazing collection is almost presenting Renata to us. Her loves, her passions, her animals. I definitely liked a horror fan. That was a good poem because it obviously talked about the cats and stuff and how they all have different horror names. Annabelle's definitely one that I'd avoid personally, but Chucky I love. I know my sister would name at least one of her animals Chucky if she was given the choice. So I absolutely adored the variety as well that was in this collection. It wasn't just free verse, sonnets, haikus, you name it. There was even some poetry forms that I've never heard of before that was so short but intense. Like, they do hit you hard. Emotionally, you can connect with them, and it really does lift your spirit up, especially when you're having a bad day. It reminds you about your passions, it reminds you about what you love. And for me, it was reminding me how much I cared about my writing. Now, I know I've been falling a bit behind with my reviews. I've been falling a bit behind with my reading. So any of you that's in my review list, I am sorry. I honestly am reading through your collections. It's just taking a little longer because I've got life stuff that I'm dealing with right now. We all know that. But for me, the one that resonated with me big time has to be a conceit of running and writing. Now, I will agree wholeheartedly with this. It does feel like you are... I mean, I know so many reviewers that have been doing this a lot longer than me, and they are just banging out books, banging out reviews, and throwing out... I know somebody, amazing reviewer, and she has a full-time job and she's got kids, and she's still whacking out these reviews day after day, and I am blown away by her dedication. And I know that I have days where I slump. We all slump. But for me, this poem really resonated because it reminded me that it is... you go at your pace. Everybody else is different. Don't compare your work to somebody else's work, because they're not you. You are you. You have your own personal mark on your work. You have your own personal touches. If you rush work, you feel bad afterwards because you feel like you haven't given it the full attention. So go at your pace. It's not a race. It's a marathon. And however you get there in your own time. And I loved how it was put across, because I do feel like you do get into a circle where you're around so many amazing reviewers who are doing days of like reviews, and they've got a TBR list that they're just shooting through, and you are lagging behind right over at the back next to a snail. That's how I felt. But for me, it was like a big wake-up call to remind me that, look, you know what, you do you. Don't keep putting pressure on yourself, because then you will stop loving what you have put your heart into. Your heart disappears from it completely. So that poem was, that hit me hard. I loved that one. And then we had Black Crane's review by Verse. That was fantastic and a brilliant idea. I have never come across a review in poetry form. So I thought it was not only quite cleverly constructed, I thought it was a beautiful introduction to Black Crane. And it gave you so much in depth, but not revealing too much. So it gave you splices of the book, and it made it pop out to you and speak to you. There were verses in there that reacted with me, and I literally cannot wait to get Black Crane on my shelf now, because it really does make you want the book. And it does make me want to give it a go myself, do a poetry review for somebody. I'd love to do that, because it's so personal, and it's, with poetry, it's all emotion. And with reviews, obviously, you're being constructive, you're working on structure, you're looking at various ways that each story or each novella is set out. Whereas poems, it is, you're basically giving your heart out to explain how it made you feel, how it impacted you, what you felt with every single line. And I loved it. It was so different. So, and it's definitely made me want to read Black Crane. So I love that one. This one, you have to bear with me. You know my pronunciation's wrong. You've been following me as long as you have. You'll understand. So, Bibliosima. Bibliosima? I think it's how it's pronounced. Please don't shoot me. This is basically how books make you feel. I'm the fact that she didn't just tell you how books made her feel, it was how they smelt, the texture, the makeup of a book as well. Like, she described every single component to making a book. So it wasn't just, oh, this book made me feel awesome. It gave you that emotional connection. I've got one book on my shelf that it's very dear to me. And every time I pick it up, every time I feel the pages against my skin, every time I smell the aroma come from it, it brings back so many good memories for me, because there were so many dark days where I couldn't pick up a book, and I'd see that one on my shelf, a little bit raggedy on the edges, but I look after my books. But this one has been read back to front, and it's still to this day my favourite horror book, and it is close to my heart, and I love the description. I think she went all out, really, to put her emotions out on the table for the reader to examine. You got to explore her hobbies of dance. You got to explore what it felt like to be a runner, because I can't even run for a sandwich, but apparently she's amazing at what she does, and it's exhilarating. You feel the exhilaration when you're reading her work about how she feels free about when she's running, how she feels when she's reading her books, when she's going through her library of various different books. Now, this for me is a collection that I would give my niece when she's old enough, obviously, but she's at a very high reading level, so it probably won't be long. But this is a reading collection that it's so well done and so positive, and it's so reinforcing that love your passion and keep it up vibe, that I can't not share it with her. Because if she ever does want to get into something, or she's passionate, like I know she does dance, and I know that she would love the dance poetry in this and very much connect with it. There are aspects in this book that you will connect with, whether if you're not into dance, if you're a reader, a writer, this will connect with you on that level. If you're a horror fan, you'll love the poetry for that one. If you're somebody that feels like they've given their heart out to so many people but had it trashed repeatedly, and you're losing hope that there are genuine people out there, there's a poem in there for that as well, which gives you that uplifting feeling that, look, not everyone is terrible in this world. There are good people. Just stand your ground. Be you. Don't let anyone tell you what you can and can't do, because you can achieve more than you think you can. And I love that message. It's something that I definitely feel like younger me could have done with back in the teen years, because I probably would have started writing earlier. I've started writing in my 30s because now I feel confident in who I am and I feel confident in my abilities. I'm confident to carry on learning to get to that point. So, for me, this collection definitely resonates, especially Mirror, Mirror on the Wall. That one, it hit home for me because obviously I have my days where I look in the mirror and I panic and worry what other people think of me. I don't know how other people view me. But as somebody who's anxious to, as I'm always told, anxious to keep everybody happy, I always worry about what other people feel when they see me. So this poem, again, hit hard for me because it made me realise that I shouldn't be pushing myself out there just to please everybody else. I have to think of my own emotional health as well. I have to think about me. I have to think about taking time. A lot of this poetry, it aims to you enjoying your passions, enjoying your hobbies, but don't burn yourself out. Don't push yourself to the limit. Don't try overly pleasing people. Just be you. The literal whole idea of this collection is be you. Be proud of you. Don't be anybody but you. And you know what? Not everybody's going to like you, but that's okay. You'll find the right people that suit you. And it's just a really intensely good collection. Plus, my niece is very, what's the word I'm looking for? She loves culture. So, for example, she knows Jackie Chan's version of "I'll make a man out of you." Yes, that's how cool she is. So, for her, for me, it would be a soliloquy of a bookcase. Sorry. That would really appeal to her because she goes through her entire collection of things on her bookshelf. And Ode to Translators, another good one, because yes, there is so much beautiful work out there, amazing writers from various different backgrounds, and the fact that it's translated into English so that everyone can enjoy it is an incredible gift. So yay, translators. Plus I need them a lot when I was in work and they were lifesavers. I definitely think, though, that the bookcase poem will be for her because she'll look into it, she'll read through all the different poems, she'll read through all the different titles, and she'll see the mini explanation that Renata puts down for them. And she'll go, oh, okay. And she'll ask questions. She'll go, okay, I like this one. I could probably read this one. Or she'll go down and she'll ask more questions about, well, what's this one about? Or she'll research it and she'll get more into it. I think it's a great eye-opener to get readers into international books. So other cultures and other writing styles that maybe you're not used to. I know that I need to read a bit more outside my dialects. I've been looking at a author at the moment who is a Latin American author, and her work in horror looks intensely good, and I will be waiting for her to bring that one out. It opens your eyes to possibilities. It opens your eyes to you being you. Don't be anybody else, just be you. And I love that message. I think that's what any young girl who's going through a transition where they're not sure who they are, or if they're not confident in their hobby, or they're unsure about themselves, this is a great collection for an uplifting motivation to get them to go forward and go, right, okay, you love this, go for it. What's stopping you? You can do this. I have faith in you. If you fall down, it's fine. Get back up again and try again. Love it. So definitely, guys, I will wholeheartedly recommend this collection. I'll put up the link in my YouTube. And as always, thanks for listening to me waffle. It's been a pleasure. Renata, thank you so much for letting me read your collection. It was amazing.